Good evening, Professor.
Good evening. All right, young scholars. It looks like we have 23 of 27 in here already, so might as well start. So I want to apologize again. I had foot surgery at the beginning of August and have been having some issues with it. And so thankfully enough, Rosenthal has basically said if you have some issues, just teach your class remotely. So apologize again because you guys had the first class remote, then you had off for Labor Day, then I made it to campus, and now you're remote again. So I'm hoping the rest of the semester will all be face to face. So, all right. So for the homework that was due last night, I didn't get it from a couple of you. So get that to me like ASAP because I kind of give one freebie. And those of you that have had me before kind of know that otherwise I'm not really accepting of late work unless you have a documented excuse. So here is just my version of the gallery homework you guys had to do with my little example here, paragraph, um, and then just kind of the two classes I'm teaching this semester at Seton Hall. If you've had 2701, it's kind of office heavy with Excel and Access. And somebody actually used this same picture as me, which is kind of cool. I think I sent out a announcement. So basically, I had this blog set up last year, and all it really mentioned was the kid who never showed up to class, and when he did, would like show up at like 5:30. And so I basically updated it to where now it has all of the previous stuff that this class has ever done from when I've taught it. So like, for example, if you scroll down, it says 10, 25, 21. It'll have the PowerPoints, and if there was a recording, it'll show that. So if ever, Blackboard has crashed for whatever reason, I sent you guys this link. So you should just be able to click on the page and, it'll show you what I threw up on Blackboard. The main point of this blog is to kind of give you some idea of the project. So I moved this over from my courses page to the link Project Help, and it gives you some YouTube videos on how to write a project proposal like you guys will have to for your rough draft. Then I just give you an example just from my own experience. It's kind of basic and straightforward. I think I mentioned in that email that I've sent out some emails to try and get people who have taken this class with me previously to okay. But I've only heard back from one of them. So if you click on proposal examples, it has Medea's example here from last fall that you can look through as you progress in writing your proposal. On this link, I have project website options. I mentioned courses, Wix, and if you want to use blogs like this, you have to get permission from probably Thomas, but there's a link online I can provide you guys. And then project examples. So the full 2020 examples are not great because they did a different project. Let's look at, so theirs is kind of just basic and generic. But if you scroll down to last year's examples and click through some of them, so like Daniela's here is an example of what a blog could look like if you guys designed it. And here's Medea's website that she made that you can look at and compare it to her proposal. And what is the other link I have set up? Helpful links. Oh, that just links to my other pages. So everybody got this link or no? Do you want me to put it in the whatever chat thing on the side here is? Yes, no, maybe so. Okay, I'll put it on the chat just in case. And you guys can look through that as you so choose.
Professor, when is the proposal due again?
So there is a rough draft and a final draft. Let's check it out. So the rough draft is due the 23rd of next month. And then the final version is due November 13th.
And that is the one that had no coding involved. You were just writing out what you wanted to do essentially for the website, correct?
Right. So if you click that link, proposal examples, it shows you Medea's example here. It's literally just a 3-page thing where she writes those couple paragraphs and then gives like a little sketch of the website she's going to make. I emailed, I think her name was Haley Hammond and Nicole something or other, and they didn't get back to me. So as people get back to me, I'm hoping to put more and more examples up there, but hers is pretty good that it should give you a head start on that. So basically the only coding for that is the actual project itself, the website you make. So you're just doing a rough draft proposal, the final draft of the proposal, the presentation on it, like what you did, and the project itself is the website you make. So basically the HTML assignment, most of you already did. The CSS assignment due after next week's class. The JavaScript assignment due. The PHP forms assignment and the project itself are the only ones with coding. The rough draft, the final draft of the proposal, the podcast homework, and the presentation on your project do not require any coding. Did I answer that well, Emily, or did I give?
Yeah, you did. There's just a lot kind of thrown out there. I just wanted to make sure. Thank you.
Basically, that's what I was trying to do. Give you guys 2 weeks of each thing, then have a small assignment due, and then have the project due like once we get into the swing of things. But the proposal is really the only thing due before December. So once you submit your rough draft, it's worth, less than the final draft. I give you feedback, you fix it up. Oh, and Damon, Bill did not remember you, so I apologize for that.
I'll be all right.
What happened in that class? Like Rosenthal kept saying that he got in trouble because he wouldn't grade the homework and all the students were complaining.
Yeah, that's pretty accurate. Yeah, he kept assigning stuff and then he would never look at it. And then he never even graded it. And then he graded some without giving feedback. And then he made like this really weird website and ran his whole course through the website. And it didn't really go well.
Well, he got hired as the infotech director at Monmouth for their minor. And he's supposed to be teaching a class in Visual Basic. He's like, oh, I'm going to teach them how to create a web browser. It's like, that's not what the class is supposed to be about, but okay.
Yeah, that's exactly what he did with us. It was the Intro to Python course, but the whole time he just taught us C++.
Wow.
It was really bad.
And who has Rosenthal for Python this semester? Is he actually teaching Python?
Yes, he is teaching Python.
Because Talir wanted help with some Fahrenheit and Celsius thing, and I showed him there's a online Python compiler. You could check your work before using idle. He's like, oh, this is great. All right, so let's learn about cascading style sheets tonight, huh? So like usual, I gave you my PowerPoint and then some further info you might want to look at. So this one is just random stuff about the internet from some freshman class I used to teach at Monmouth. So you can see it's from 2016. And then this is TCP info. TCP IP layers, similar to some of the stuff I gave you the first class. All right, so who's ever heard of cascading style sheets before? Nicole, are you familiar with them?
I've heard of it, but I'm not too sure what they do.
Okay. Kyle, have you heard of CSS?
Not until now.
Not till now? Okay. Well, we're going to go through some kind of basics. And if you actually look through that blog where I posted basically everything I've ever taught here, like Nicole probably did, you've probably noticed that the former assignments basically are now in-class exercises to give you guys basically practice in class and what you're doing. So CSS stands for Cascading Style Sheets. You probably understood that from what I just said. It saves people a lot of work. Basically, you can either put it inside an external file, which I'll show you guys as we go through tonight, or you could put it right within your HTML code, which is what I'm going to have you do for the CSS homework after next week's class. Most of the time with a directory, you'll see that the CSS files are stored in their own location. So I'm going to use Paint and kind of maybe nuts a little here. So let's say we have a directory here, and this might be your JavaScript folder. This might be your CSS folder. This might be your images folder. And then you might have a bunch of files listed here, like your, actually, I might as well just log into courses and show you guys folders. Why didn't you advise me of that, Nicole? You're slacking. So here on the side here, notice I have scripts as a folder and then a bunch of other files. In a lot of cases, you'd have a CSS folder, a JS folder, an images folder, and they'd all be thrown in the certain folder, and then you'd have your basic HTML files off to the side here. So tonight I'm going to show you how to refer to external files, internal files, and inline files. But first, we have to go over the basics. So syntax, there's three elements to a CSS statement. The selector, which is what HTML sections you're affecting. So here the selector is H1. Evan, what is H1?
I'm going to guess the first section.
First section, what does H1 stand for?
Not too sure.
Austin, H1.
I'm not sure either.
Is it the header?
Yeah, the biggest header we can have, H1. So in this example, we're using H1. So anything in the CSS is only being applied to H1, that biggest header size. Then we have a property, which is the attribute of the HTML section we're being affected. So in this example, color, and then the value. What change will be made to that attribute? So the value can only be a color because the property is color. So here, H1 color red. So what do you think that would do? Nicholas.
It would make it red.
Color red. Go ahead.
It would make it red.
Yep. It's going to make anywhere we put in our HTML a header 1, it's going to turn it red. And eventually, as I go through the kind of, overall description of this, you guys will see what I'm talking about. So HTML defines where structures start and end. Style sheets define what they look like. When used properly, style sheets allow for a consistent look and feel throughout a website with one simple change of a file. There's three ways you can use them. External, styles are defined in a .css file, which is preferred. They're internal, the styles are defined inside the HTML file, usually in the header section, or they're inline. The style is defined inside an existing tag, usually inside the body section. So the reason people usually refer to them externally, what is my example? Example.cs. So here's the example that I'll have you guys do in a little bit of the homework from last fall for this lesson, I think. So this is an example CSS file. The background color of anything inside the body is yellow. The color of our H1, our header, is red, and it's aligned center. The color of all paragraph text is blue with font size 18 and font type serif. So now if I refer to example.css throughout my entire courses page, everything on the pages has this same thing applied. So rather than put this in every single HTML file, for example, a website like ESPN or LinkedIn, they would just put this one file inside of a CSS folder and then have the HTML file referred to it. So again, inline is used within the style attribute inside HTML methods. And we'll go through all these together. Internal by using the style element in the head section. And external by using a link element to link to an external CSS file. So here's an inline example. It's right within the HTML element. So here we have an example with an H1 and a P, which is header 1 and paragraph. So if you copy those in your WYSIWYG, you can put them right within the body section and run, and you get a blue heading in blue text and a red paragraph in color red. That is what's called inline. We have our style tag applied to our H1 tag, our style attribute applied to our P tag, and in each instance simply have a color set to it. Like I showed you guys last week, you could also add let's say text size should make it bigger. It doesn't like us today. You could add in inline just like last week's example that I showed. Who was it? Mark or Matt? One of you asked. Similar to these, the styles and fonts, size and alignment that I showed you guys last week. Where you can change in the middle, and that's what's referred to as inline. The internal example is a little more complicated. You notice here, everything is literally just on one line. No issues, it's kind of boring, what have you. Computer does not like me today. For the internal example, you can copy off the side here on slide 7. Everything is within the HTML page, usually within the header section. You'll notice this momentarily. We have a style tag. So you'll notice here, style through style. This is what's called internal. So now anytime the body comes up, the background color will be powder blue. Our header, the same thing we did with the previous inline example. Any headers we make are now blue. Any paragraphs we make are now red. So when we run this, the entire body is now powder blue. The header one, this is a heading, is blue. The paragraph, this is a paragraph, is now red. So what happens here now if I add a header 2? Let's see, who wants to join? Mike, what should the header 2 say?
Wait, can you just repeat that?
What should I put in the header 2? What should it say?
Are you just like asking me like what to put something like for
Yep.
anything?
Yeah, just any random thing.
I don't know. September.
Okay. How about we do some nice song here? Wake me up when September.
Sounds good.
Would help if I could spell. Then make sure you close H2 out. It's always the same as the first tag, but with a slash in front. So now what's going to happen if I run it? Dominic S.
I'm sorry, Professor, what'd you say?
What happens when I click run now on the WYSIWYG? Is H2 going to have a color or anything associated with it?
No. It's just gonna say wake me up when September ends.
Yeah. It's just going to be random header text, black. So in order to change that, I would have to go up here, add H2 into the style, go over a little bit, do shift, and then the button next to P. What do we want to do to this? What color should we make this? How
Green.
about green? Okay. So we simply do color, colon, space, green, semicolon, and then shift, and the button 2 over from P. And now what's it going to do when I click run? Anyone? Bueller?
It's gonna turn green.
It's going to turn green. Yep. You click run, and now it's wake me up when September ends. So we can make the background color of the entire body black, and that's going to run, and everything now is black in the background. And then we can make all the colors like yellow. And people basically will make entire pages like this.
I have a quick question.
Okay?
Does the, okay, so since there's 2 head sections, we changed those from body, correct?
So in this example, which is called internal, we set up the CSS inside the header section using the style tag. In the previous example, everything was on the same line, which is called inline. So when you use inline, it goes all in one place in the body. When you use internal, you set up your CSS inside the header section using the style tag. And then in the body is any of your text. So we can keep going with the all of the H's.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
So let's do, if we do an H3, we could put more text there. And then go back into our style and change that. And Domenico, what color?
Let's do blue.
Okay. And then we run that, and now more text there is in blue. So you can literally go through and do H1, H2, H3, H4, H5, P, link. Anything you want, you could change basically the color for, the font for, the size for. And like I said, that's kind of why a lot of people will throw it in an external file. Because just in doing this, we already have this big section here. That's why some people use different styles. Like I said, with the inline, we just did it right on the same line. So H1 had its own thing. P had its own thing. Now the difference is, of course, if you put this in, you'd have to do that for every single time you did an H1 or a P. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. Now I
So in
get
other
it.
words-
Thank you.
In other words, with the inline, if you change and put in another H1 to say red heading, or even if you wanted a different heading, so just a different heading, you would literally have to copy this and make a copy of it. Whereas the internal, now it's all set. You literally just put H1, H1, whatever. So if I do a new H1 and say, you know, Emily scored a goal. It's the same yellow text. Because we already have H1 set up here in the style tag within the header section. Whereas in the inline, you have to repeat everything over and over and over every time you use it. And then here's the external example, which, like I said, is the most common and what people tend to want to use all the time. So notice the difference in how much we have with respect to code here. Quite different than everything we set up here, right? So the way to refer to that external file here is simply using the link tag. So it would be link and then rel equals style sheet. That just tells it, hey, it's a CSS file. And then href, you remember that from the pictures? ahref equals, and then quote, styles.css. So if I wanted to use my actual example here from the last year's class, I could go and do that and change the href. And then I run it. And because this thing doesn't like us, it's not going to do it. So I'll go back and refer to the WYSIWYG example. A lot of this stuff requires things to be live, so that may be why the WYSIWYG does not like us. And it basically did the same exact thing as the internal example, right? It made the background powder blue. It made the H1 blue and the paragraph red text, right? So is there a way to do like a poll in this? Let's use reactions. So if you like the external way, where it literally has next to no code in the HTML, give the heart. If you like the internal, where everything's thrown in the header, give the thumbs up, the like. Let's see who likes what. Everybody prefers it right in the HTML except Austin. Oh, Austin changed. He got peer pressured, huh? So I prefer this way, the external way, but that's just because when I make websites, you know, this code, instead of just this little paragraph here or this, you know, they might look something like, let's use ESPN's website as an example. So this is how much code like a normal website might have. So let me copy that and put that in a Word file, and let's show you how many pages that is. While that's loading, let's see if ESPN actually has that listed here. So they have script, which we'll discuss in 2 weeks when we touch on JavaScript. Anybody see style in there?
If you do Control F for style, we'll highlight it.
I know how to spell. It's only giving me S's. I told you this computer don't like me. But anyway, so yeah, I went back into the Word file here and it says 309 pages. Yeah. So that's why me, you know, the kind of professional web developer, if you would, prefers doing it this way. So it's just referring to one external file, it's in one spot, and it just takes up one line. You know, here, what do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 lines. And the inline example, like you said, you literally would have to do it for every single one. So here is the external HTML code on slide 9 that this is referring to in the WYSIWYG here. So this styles.css, this is literally all the code that's in that file. So how do we make a CSS file? Oh, Mike and Mike's wife, are you still with us? Did that email I sent you guys about the, there was some extra step apparently you have to take on a Mac to save the files in Notepad? Did you get that email?
Yeah, I saw it. Thank you.
Did that work?
Yeah, it worked.
Okay.
Yeah, I tried it.
Mike, did it work?
I think so. The last assignment, I had to switch the setting, but I think it worked all right.
Yeah. So who's the other one in class who has a Mac? I think there was 3 of you.
Me.
There's me. Raise your hand.
I'm sorry, Rahel.
Oh, okay. So apparently there's an extra step on a Mac. And I can send you that email too. Saving in Notepad. I don't even remember what it said. Mike or Emily, do you remember what it said? There was some extra setting you had to click or something.
I think it was just the way of like formatting the notepad and then the way of opening it.
Okay.
It was like formatting for an HTML and saving and like opening as an HTML or something. I forget though.
Okay. So I'll have to email you that I sent to them. But saving as .css file is basically the same as we've done with everything else. So you open a Notepad file, paste it inside, and then do File, Save As, All Files. What do we want to name it? Who hasn't been called that yet? Other Emily S, the one that Emily says is great. What should we call it?
Are you showing them how to do the Mac stuff right now?
No, this is for everybody how to save a CSS file.
Okay, and you just want a file name?
Yes, please.
It could be Emily CSS.
Okay. So Emily CSS dot, instead of HTML, it's .css. So Emily CSS .css. And then save that. And wherever you've saved it, you can right click and open it with whatever web browser you're using, hopefully. All right, so this is not giving me Google Chrome, so I'll open it in Firefox just because. And like the other example I showed you of mine, back here, it literally just gives you the CSS code. So that's why a lot of times they'll use it externally, because an HTML file can pull this up quicker than a web browser and interpret it and know what you want it to do. So like here, when we click run, bang, we pulled up the styles. Do I have CSS up here? So if you have gone to my courses page and clicked view page source, you can notice here I have quite a bit of CSS code there. So I have a background color set up. I'm using a font family, Arial, Helvetica, Sans Serif. I gave code to my navigation bar, the drop-down bar, which is all this stuff here. So you notice you navigate over on things, they're red. You navigate to the assignments. It gives a drop down of the assignments. And you'll notice that the first assignment you guys did, the HTML assignment that I have my example there. The other three, the examples aren't uploaded yet because they have not been assigned or due yet. So. Okay, so is there any questions on that so far? I know some of this is kind of boring, but once you kind of start testing it out on your own, you'll see why we kind of go through some of these basics together. All right, so what can you control with CSS? Kind of like I just showed you. Color, font, size of text, spacing between elements, how elements are positioned and laid out, background images or colors. I just showed you the powder blue, and different displays for different devices and screen size. Which a lot of that is the whole point of this drop down and nav bar and all this stuff. If you go to my courses page and right click and select view page source. So like display block, text align left, box shadow, min width, background color, position, display. So the whole point of using the style sheets is, as you guys know, so most of you are going to use Google Chrome. I'm taking it now. And then Emily, Mike, and Raheel, you guys probably use Safari, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Nicole, what are you using these days?
Oh, got a lot of pop-ups. I've been using Chrome and Edge.
Okay.
I actually use Google Chrome on my Mac because Safari, like, it says it takes up too much storage and then it closes me out. So I've been using Chrome.
Okay. So most of you are going to use Chrome, I take it. Anybody use like something different? Like Firefox, or do people still use Windows Explorer, or has Edge basically replaced it?
Explorer is extinct.
It's gone the way of the dodo bird.
Edge is basically its replacement.
Well, I use too many different computers with different styles. Like I have a computer that still runs Windows 8 and keep getting pop-ups. Up, this version of Windows will not be supported come January. Okay, well, I have an iPad and 8 other computers, so who cares? But the whole point of that is that you may have to modify your style sheets based on how you're looking at a website. I gave the examples here: Internet Explorer, Firefox, Chrome, iPhone, BlackBerry. So who has a phone out? I'll actually give you guys the perfect example here. Who has their phone? Go to this link on your phone here. Monmouth.edu/department-of/faculty-and-staff/. You notice on my laptop here, you click on Damon's favorite professor. It goes to his profile. Or if you click on my best friend's father's best friend, it goes to his profile. What happens when you click on on these people on a computer or on your cell phone. Kyle, what happened?
It's asking me to call them, like
Yeah.
putting their phone number up.
So this web page is not set up properly to accommodate for both the web and mobile devices. Because if you try and click Damon's favorite professor, it tries to call his office. A pop-up will show up and say, oh, call 732-571-7501. Now I have an iPhone and it does that. Does it do that for like Androids too? Kyle, is that what you have, an Android?
No, I have an iPhone.
Okay. Anybody have an Android and it did the same thing? Basically had a pop-up saying to call. Don't all jump in at once. Garfield, we haven't heard from you today.
I got an iPhone, Professor.
So it's the same thing? Asked you to call?
Yeah.
Other Nicholas, are you with us? Nicholas F? Do you have an Android?
Nope, I have an iPhone.
Yeah. Nobody's got an Android these days.
I mean, I've got family that has them, but like, and it works the same way.
But, you know, I just wanted to kind of embarrass Damon. You won't have to worry about Billy no more. He's back at Mama after 6 years off. Okay, so that's kind of the point of that you want to modify your cascading style sheets so that, well, basically your website works on multiple fronts. So you pull up a website and it doesn't work completely different on a phone than on your computer. Because when you pull up like a website like ESPN, Google, whatever, it works basically the same on both. And as you guys will see in 2 weeks when we start JavaScript, the same thing. We can use JavaScript to modify items as we need. So here's 2 more style sheet examples. What do you guys think these are doing here? So we'll take one at a time. Who have we not called on? Nicole, pick somebody to call on.
Patrick
Which Patrick?
Murphy.
Okay. Patrick Murphy, you're on deck. What does this line here mean? Border 2px black solid mean?
I'm gonna go with it puts a border around it, but it makes it like a little thicker than normal.
Okay. And the other Patrick, what does color black do there?
Probably makes it black.
Yep. So how will we change the border color here?
You change the color name to something else.
Yeah, you would just change this black here to blue or red or purple or yellow, whatever you wanted to do. How about the next part? Who hasn't joined us today? John is hiding in plain sight here. John Catan. What does the next section mean here? Dot justified, text align left.
Looks like the header's text will be aligned to the left side of the document.
So notice here in my example, dot navbar A, dot dropdown, dot dropdown, dot navbar, dot dropdown dash content, dot drop down dash content, etc. So do we have any? Damon, did you learn this in Python classes?
No.
No? Emily, that Emily says is great. You're in Rosenthal's Python class now, right?
Yeah,
Is he going to go over classes?
I'm not sure, honestly, but when he does, I'll let you know.
Okay, so basically that's all this is dot justified is creating a class called justify. So here in my example, we have a dot drop-down class, a dot navbar class. So that means anything that's now referred to in the justified class has its text aligned left. In this example, it's right. So as, who was it, John?
Yep.
As John pointed out, this H1 would now be aligned left because we're referring to the justified class. So dot justified is a class that's already usually created. A lot of times you might have to make up your own. Like these examples here, dot drop down, dot navbar, line. And then the styles 2 example is pretty similar. So the border, we're making it red solid instead of black, and making sure the color of our text for H1 is red. And then we're aligning it right instead of left. Oh boy. So I basically showed you guys this to begin with, but style sheets are put together with a selector, one or more properties, and one or more values for each property. Basically, that's just a verbose way of going through this picture again. And like I showed you, if you want to refer to an external CSS file, it's very simple. Link rel equals style sheet, href equals whatever the CSS is. This at the bottom of slide 13 here, if you copy that, it's literally the same thing, but in this example, we have the relation and the href reversed, and we simply add type. Either way is perfectly fine. I don't think we saw anything in ESPN example, so I'm not going to refer back to that. But if we remove this here, styles, the first one, and have the second one there, and run it, it doesn't run because it's probably not the same example, but you guys get the point, hopefully, right? All right, so like I said, anything with a dot in front of it is a class. You can refer to it inline, like H1 class equals name, or as I showed you, I do in the internal code here for my courses example, my website. So remember, inline is this one here on slide 6, where everything's on the same line. Internal, everything's kind of thrown together in the same file, like this example, and like mine on the courses. And then external simply refers to wherever you have the file saved. IDs, we're not going to get into them, but they're another way you can define various structures within an HTML document. And we went over elements last week and earlier today. Borders an element, colors an element, text align is an element that defines certain tags. So here, H1 is your tag, border, color are elements. Here, dot justified is your class. Like I mentioned when I tried to see if anybody learned that in Python. And text align is your element. Left would be what? Do you remember from the first class maybe? And maybe the review at the start of class last week? Left is considered the value of this element. Okay, so here's a little just visuals of how things can kind of look in a style sheet that the guy who used to teach this class gave me from when he did examples. You can see, you could make them bigger on your screen if you feel like it, that the code changes them, you know, the color, the size based on the header level. This here is a form. We'll get to them that actually work instead of just using them in the HTML style. Well, we do PHP. And then slide 16 is more examples of code, etc. We touched on this style tag here, and we used it before. You know, everything that is internal with CSS, this code goes inside our style tag. So style, close style. If you're using it internally, all the CSS code must be put within those tags. Otherwise, it's not going to be recognized. So let's take that out and put it inside the body. What happens when I run? Who has I called now? Lucas, what happens when I run this new code here? Putting the P, the H2, and the H3 in the body.
It will change like the colors for the paragraph and then the headers.
We'll change the colors to what?
Red, green, and blue.
What does it change them to?
Oh, I don't know.
It changed them to black text. Because this code in the body section means absolutely nothing. It's literally right now thought of by the WYSIWYG as a paragraph, then the P. So if we take it out of the body and put it back into the style tags within the header section and run it, we actually get the right colors. So for inline, like this example on slide 6, anywhere in the body is fine because you're literally putting it in the same line as your H1 and your P. Internal has to be put inside the header using the style tag. As I just showed you guys with that example, let's even go further. We take everything out and put it in the body. Everything's now black text. Because this doesn't matter in the body section. It has to be put within that style tag or any HTML interpreter, whether it's WYSIWYG, a Google Chrome web browser, Safari web browser, Edge web browser, whatever. So does that make sense to everybody?
Yeah, yeah.
So the basic ones I went through today are the color property. Obviously defines the text color. The font family property defines the font. So I showed you guys my example here. Website of my courses. All I use is Arial, Helvetica, and Sans Serif as my font family. And then font size property, obviously the size of the text. So the next slide lists 3 more I've talked about, but let's get some of you guys involved. Mark, our soccer star.
Yep, I'm here.
What does the border worry about?
It defines a padding space between the text and the border.
That's the padding property.
Oh, I see now. Yeah, yeah. Just the border in general, just you know, when you look at a website, just the lines that go between and separate text.
Yep. So refer back to, where was it? The example on slide 12. We can make it twice as big, black color, solid. So anytime you have a H1 header, we've now created a border around it that's fairly solid and black and aligned it left. So we didn't touch on padding or margin, but the same kind of thing applies. So actually, let's use an Excel example. So if you're in Excel and select a file and format cells, you could do a border, change it, different, in essence, thicknesses. It's the same kind of idea. And do an outline, and that creates your border. And then alignment, you could do left, center, right, fill, justify, whatever you'd like. Make sense? Now the padding basically creates a space in between. What's that word? There's like a word you can use, buffer. Who knows what the word buffer means? Like, say you're not really friends with somebody, but you know, you have a mutual friend, and so that person might be a buffer in between if you needed something from that person you don't really like. Like you both have a mutual friend and you work together. That's kind of like padding, like space in between. And then what's a margin? Well, that's the outside. So like in where's margins in Word these days? Anybody know?
Try layout.
There we go. So like in Word, layout margins, you could set them to be normal, very narrow, very wide, mirrored. Same thing on a website. So like if you guys wanted to change, let's say your tables from last week, you could use border, padding, margin, CSS style. So here's just a review of all that. Like I said, you'd use the style attribute for inline styling, which was back on slide 6. H1 style, B1 style. You use this style tag within the header for internal, and I don't think I ever went back to it. Then the external example. You simply use link, rel, style sheet, etc. So like I showed you before, there's multiple ways you could do it. The example used for the WYSIWYG links to a style sheet located in the same folder as the current page. So that means that there is a file w3schools.com. Let's see if it actually lets us go to it. It might say forbidden, but styles.css. Okay. Let's try /HTML. Okay, so it's in the HTML folder. So that's why when I run the WYSIWYG, it goes right to it. Because it's in the same folder as our HTML WYSIWYG here. Make sense? So when you're trying to refer to the folder, if you will, you'd put /HTML in front of that styles.css. So for example, if I wanted to find whatever's in my scripts folder here, I would use that. So that's why, like I said, a lot of times they'll use a, CSS folder just to throw all their CSS files in. A lot of times people will refer to exactly where the file is. So in this example, it's literally this URL here. So let's name a website other than ESPN and see if we can find their CSS. Who hasn't been involved much today? Mark E. Give me a website. See how slow it goes with no involvement?
Just any website.
Any website.
Cool Math Games.
Okay, Talia. Is this like some big thing that Seton Hall uses in all its classes?
This was like middle school for me.
Why does everybody at Seton Hall know this and mention it constantly?
Because our computer classes didn't teach us crap, that's why. They just told us to go on Cool Math Games and have fun.
Damn it. So this is a bunch of JavaScript that we won't cover until 2 weeks. So this is not helping right this second. Bum, bum, bum. Okay, other Mark, give us another website.
I don't know, maybe like CNN will be easier. Another like kind of news source.
CNN might have a CSS. Let's try. Well, whatever. I'll use the JavaScript examples. So you clicked on that JS and it gives you the code from the JS file. And it's kind of very, involved. Let's try another one here. So see, you might want to put the CSS code or the JavaScript code into a secondary file. Notice how I clicked all these JavaScript files and they're all very long and involved. Whereas I'm just giving you basic examples so that you guys kind of can do some basic things if you so choose. So who can look at slide 22 and tell me what the declaration and selector are? So slide 3, the declaration is the property and value, and the selector is the tag. So which one is the declaration? John?
The declaration is what's inside the little parenthesis bracket things, the font size, 10 point, background color white, the color blue, and the selector is the word body for the tag there.
Yep. So in this instance, we're using the body tag. So that's our selector. And then the rest of our code is the declaration. Our font size is our element. Our 10px is our value. Our background color is our element. Our white is our value. Our color is our element. Our value is blue. So what is this actually doing? Billy, are you here today? I haven't heard from you.
Yeah, I'm here.
What is this code doing?
So it's making the font size at 10. It's making the background color to white, and it's making the color of the text to blue.
But only in what section?
Only in the style tags.
Only in the body.
Body. Oh, body.
So that is our selector here.
Oh wait, that's for CSS. That's only in the okay.
Right.
I got you.
So if I put H1 here instead of body, then only where we have the header 1 would the background be white, color blue. Well, technically the background for any HTML page is white until you change it.
Gotcha.
So remember, what was it, the first class? I showed you guys how colors for certain links are purple after they're used and blue if they're not. So here's how you would use CSS code to apply a different color to a linked, a visited, a hover, and active URL. Do I have that in my example for my code somewhere? No, yes. No. So here where I have navbar A, I changed all the settings for the A. And here where I have navbar A hover and background color red. And then for the drop down background color and this hashtag F9, F9, F9. That's basically what I'm doing here. So the hover, I was using this example. A hover, and then the color would be whatever I had, F9, F9, F9. So there's more than, well, technically there's about 7 different ways you could do this stuff, but that should give you a basic overview of CSS. So now I'm going to have you guys do some in-class exercise with it. So I ask you to create a CSS file called example, where you set a background color, header color, and alignment, and text color, size, and font. So how do you guys want to do this? Do you want to make a HTML file and refer to it externally? Or do you want to do it internally and just put it in the style tag? Let's do the reactions again. So we'll do the heart for external again, and we'll do the like, the thumbs up for internal using style. We only have like 8 people doing anything. Rob, what do you think?
For the heart, can you see it?
I can't see a heart on you, no. There it goes. Now I see it. Okay, so it's entirely up to you. I just wanted to get some individuals involved as to whether you want to do it internally or externally. So if you're going to do it internally, I have given you the keys to the castle in slides 25, 26, and 27. So you would paste this in your WYSIWYG, and then the code in 26. You take everything inside style, and then in slide 27, everything inside style. And so in this example, the background is going to be purple. The header is going to be red and center. The paragraph is going to be blue and serif as the font. And it'll look like crap like that. So your task would be to go ahead and change everything within the style. Background color, H1 color and alignment, paragraph color, size, and font to whatever you want to do. However, if you're going to do it externally, you would have to copy this into Notepad and save it as a CSS file and then refer back to it. So you'd have to create both an HTML and a CSS file. So,
Excuse me, Professor. I got a question. When you're referencing the file in your when you're doing it externally and you're referencing the file for the in your Win SCP like courses.shu.edu, since the HTML is in there, like when you reference the CSS file, does it have to be in your like web domain space through like we do with the Win SCP program or whatever?
yep. So you'll see I have an example.css up here. This is basically this homework from last year was their third homework assignment. And you'll notice here, if you were to put that in here, it wouldn't work. This literally just refers to the styles.css that the WYSIWYG has. So where was that link? So this link here, at the top of slide 21. So if you were to create an HTML file, so let's say I wanted to refer to this. You would put that there, and Emily's, give me some code to put here. There's 3 Emily's, right? Don't all shut at
Do you want a
once.
code or do you want like a word?
I want like words.
Okay, say, this is the header.
This is the header. Okay. Mike's wife, Emily, what should be in the paragraph?
It can be anything I want.
Anything you want.
Halloween is almost here.
Halloween is almost here. Can't wait. Payday at Seton Hall. Okay, other Emily.
Sorry, I have a quick question.
Okay.
If we're doing it the other way, in order to get words for the P section, do you have to do another P in the body to get words up?
In this example?
Yeah, in that example. Okay, I was just making sure because I missed that part. Thank you.
So on slide 25, if you add a P to that code, then it'll show up whatever we have it set, blue. So you would have to add that on. So
Yeah,
hello
that's what I
world.
wanted to make sure. Thanks.
Yep.
Appreciate it.
So which Emily didn't go yet?
The new Emily. You could say, let's go for a walk.
Let's go for a walk. Probably not the best idea for me, but so I forget who asked the question now. If you wanted to actually have this CSS work properly, you would have to copy and paste into a notepad, save that as, let's just say example.html, and open that in your browser. So this is the header. Halloween is almost here. Let's go for a walk. Actually, I think I have an example where I do this. Hold on one second. Get Bob. There we go. Okay, so bob.html. You can see the code here. It refers to that example.css I have up in my courses. So if you were going to do it externally, you would have to upload it, the CSS file, through your courses using WinZip, change your short name here, and then just save this as an HTML file, and it'll work. So either or is perfectly fine with me. The point is just to kind of show you the difference. Like I said, I don't really know too many people that use inline because, you know, you don't want to throw all this on one line because then it's harder to scroll over and look at it. Assuming that makes sense to everybody.
Yeah, thank you.
So I'll post this in the chat so you guys can look at the page source for that if you want. See what I'm talking about. How you would make an HTML file and refer back to it. So like I said, you could put it on courses to refer back to it and reference it in an HTML file if you so choose. And literally your CSS file is just going to have the code that you put in it. So your background color for the body, your H1, your P. Now in the internal example, you change this to whatever you want. So who hasn't been called on much? Nicholas, who I had in 3727. What should I make the background color instead of purple?
Green.
Okay. So we change that to green and run it. The background is now green. Philip, did you just join us?
No, I've been here the whole time.
Okay. So give me the two changes to the header one. What color should I make it?
Let's go with blue. And for alignment, let's go left.
So it's now blue text that's aligned left. You'll notice in the WYSIWYG, for whatever reason, when I had alignment center, it didn't work. But you'll notice here on that example I just gave you, bob.html, that when you have the code live, it works properly. Oh, class starts at 5 o'clock, Joe. I can't believe he tried to get it back in this class again this year after failing it 3 years in a row. Other Robert Hill, who I also had in 3727.
Yeah.
What should we make changes to the paragraph? Color, size, and font.
I would say let's make it yellow.
Color yellow. Okay.
We'll do 20 for the size.
Okay.
Font. What's a good font? I'm drawing a blank. Calibri.
I don't know if that one will work. But... Let's try Arial. I think it only has like basic. Oh well. Okay, so what if I wanted to also have an H2? What would I have to do? Billy, bail us out.
So what you would have to do is you can put H2 in the between the styles, so like you can format it how you want, and then you have to put H2 in between the body and then put text.
So what are we gonna put in our H2? What do we want? Do we just want color, alignment, color size, font, and alignment? What do we want?
We could start with color.
Okay, what color would you like? What's your
let's-
favorite color, Billy?
Well, it is green, but so that won't work with the background. Maybe try like a lime green. Will that still show up on the background?
We could change the background color.
All right, yeah, let's change the background color to like black or something.
Okay.
Yeah, color green. We can make the you can make the size what's it called? Like 18. And we can make the font will it work with Times New Roman?
Hopefully.
Hopefully, yeah.
And that's it? No alignment?
Alignment. We can do like alignment right.
Okay. Now, if we run that, probably the only thing that'll come up properly is the color. It didn't even show up green. Oh, never mind. We don't have an H2 yet. Okay, we need an H2. Billy, thank you for your time and service. Who haven't we called? Domenico, what should our H2 say?
What's special?
Should it say?
Can we just put this is H2, or does it have to be something special?
Doesn't have to be anything special. This is
Well,
H2.
This is H2.
Then we close that tag, and now when we run that, our H2 shows up in green. And like I said, with this example, bob.html, once you put it up on courses or what have you, it will actually show up the way you want it to. So like if I do the alignment here for blue as center, notice I run it, it's not centering it, or at least it doesn't look like it's centered. And the H2 does not appear to be on the right-hand side. Let's see if I copy it. And I'll use the same example that I had saved before. Let's see if this works. No, okay. So it has to be live if you're going to do it internal. So internal is this here. putting it inside the style within the header tag. Whereas if you do it external, the only thing that has to be live is the .css file itself. But then you'd have to copy it from the WYSIWYG to Notepad, save it, and open it in your web browser. Can you guys use the chat too or no? No? All right, so give yourselves a round of applause if you did your in-class exercise and want me to look at. If you put it up on WinSCP. Nicole, question?
No, I meant to do the clapping.
You meant to do the applause?
Yeah.
So you want me to look at yours?
I have to upload it first.
Professor,
First question. Domenico?
Evan, I have a question.
Okay.
With the external, would you be able to show me the code you uploaded to the example? Because that's not working for me, that part of it.
So you, for the external, you have to upload the CSS file to your courses for that to work.
I did that.
Okay, so then you would change this code here and you would change my short name to whatever yours is.
Did that as well.
Okay, so your HTML file looks like this code.
Very similar, yes.
And you click run in the WYSIWYG, or you did what I showed?
I did run and none of the background color or the text colors are coming through.
Okay, so copy that into a Notepad file. Save it as example.html. Right click on it, open with whatever browser you feel like. So I have it open in Google Chrome. Like this. Because only the CSS file has to be live for the HTML to use it. Whereas with the internal one, the HTML has to be uploaded to your courses.
Got it. Thank you.
Professor.
Yes.
So I'm using CyberDuck and I just uploaded all the past assignments, everything, as well as the in-class exercise, but would you be able to check to see if it's actually getting uploaded? Because I really have no idea if it's working.
Examples.css fantasy2223.html is up and gallery.html is up.
All right, perfect. Thank you.
Anyone else want me to check? While I am here.
Can you check mine?
Who?
Nicole.
Who? So Nicole's got a hell of a lot of big files.
It's the in-class example internal.
What's your short name?
Izzy Nick.
Izzy Nick?
GIZZINIC.
Thank you all for not busting on my team today. In class example internal.
Internal. .css.
Hello world. This is an HTML file.
Did I upload it wrong?
You uploaded as a CSS file.
Yeah.
So the only thing in here that's CSS is this. So if you want it as a .css file, you would do it this way, like this example, and copy this code and name it whatever, and then refer to it. So if you just change this to .html, then you did, you know, the internal example. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I'm doing it right now.
And thank you for not busting on my team for our starting quarterback breaking his ankle 12 minutes into the game. On the plus side, I had Matt Ryan on the bench in fantasy, who only got negative 0.2 points. So Trey Lance playing about 10 minutes for me still did better than Matt Ryan. So that was nice. But
Okay,
now,
Jalen.
of course, I'm up 26. My opponent's got Josh Allen and Adam Thielen, and I only have Dawson Knox. So
Good luck.
and now Mike Evans got suspended. So next week I'm shot. Oh,
You could
did I
check
show you
again.
guys my final version of that from whatever? I think I named it. From the gallery. So he broke his ankle and is out for the year. He's terrible. He did pretty good the last 2 weeks. He did excellent for me yesterday. Didn't do much. Didn't do much. On the bench, on the bench, on the bench, on the bench. Didn't do much. Got a late touchdown. Always does great. They got me a point. He's yet to play. And he didn't do anything until they scored a touchdown and got a 2-point conversion. Okay. So you fixed this, Nicole? I can check it again?
Yeah.
So that's what the internal example looks like.
I'm trying to figure out the external.
So, like I said, you would copy this code
Mm-hmm.
and put it in Notepad, and whatever you save it to, let's say gizzy.css.
Okay.
Then you would upload that. And then your HTML code would look, so what did you write? This is Nicole's. So we'll change it to, this is Nicole's external example.
Mm-hmm.
Young boy stink. Poopy fluky. And then you'd make that into a HTML file. So let's say we call that gizzy.html.
Mhm.
And you wouldn't even have to upload that. You would just check it in your browser. So gizzy.html. Unless I copied.
So you only copy the body and
Okay.
save that in Notepad as a CSS.
Yeah, that just this code.
Okay. Just let me.
And then your code here, you change this to my example, I called it gizzy.css. And then you'd copy that into a Notepad and call it an HTML file.
Thank you.
Okay, no problem. All right, anybody else would like me to check theirs?
Can you check mine to see if it's good?
Safayem?
Yeah.
And what's it called?
It's called, oh, it's SAFF. And then it's called in class example, but there's spaces in between each word.
Okay, and it's HTML?
Yeah, and every first letter is capitalized. Sorry, I made it kind of complicated.
That's okay. They're not as
And then-
long as Nicole's file names.
And then after example, there's another space, and then I just did 9-19, and then the HTML.
Like that?
Mm-hmm.
Not found.
Oh, I just did, I think you did the date. I just did 9-19. I don't know if. Oh, it's in classwork. That's
In
why.
class
My
work.
bad. My bad.
It's okay. That's why we're going through this. And seeing what we need to know and understand. Star-Lord, Guardians of the Galaxy, Jason, Friday the 13th. Those are your Halloween costumes?
No, I just randomly put Halloween costumes as like the theme for my HTML, but
Okay.
so is that good?
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
All right, it's almost 7 o'clock here. So next week, we're also going to do some more CSS, and then I think we have 2 weeks of JavaScript. Is that correct? Yes. So after next week's class, there's going to be a CSS assignment assigned, and it'll probably be something similar to this, where you can either do your CSS internal in the HTML file or external and refer to it otherwise. And then when we get to JavaScript, I think the ESPN site was the one that had it, or was it Cool Math Games? So we get to JavaScript, instead of the style tag, everything is in the script tag. Now, the problem with JavaScript is you should have somewhat of the background in Java, but for whatever reason, none of the business students have any classes that have anything to do with Java. So Nicole, what do you recommend? Don't you run some like programming club?
For what? What do you want me to recommend?
Like, how do I give you guys like an intro to Java before we start on JavaScript without actually giving you an intro on Java? You guys just want like web links and stuff to read, or how do you want to do that?
Maybe examples.
Okay.
'Cause that always helped me when I was first starting to code.
So like, do you guys at least know like some of the basics? Like most of you have had Python, right? Do you know what a var is? Or an else statement or an if statement?
Var is a variable, right?
Var is variable, yeah. So do the little hand raise if you've had the Python class with either my good friend Bill Byrne or Rosenthal, or does anybody else actually teach it?
I took Python at St. Peter's University in high school.
St. Peter's University in high school?
Yeah, I had a dual enrollment course.
So
So
like AP?
it was for college credit, so it wasn't really AP.
Well, the AP classes are for college credit too.
True. But I did it I actually went to St. Peter's before my St. Dom's classes.
That's the one we just stole the coach from, right?
It's funny though, they showed me how to use Python in something called Google Colab,
Okay.
and it was like a lot different from using like Visual Studio. That's what I learned C++ on.
When I taught Python at Rowan a couple years ago, they had us use something called Jython Fireman System or something. And everybody hated it. So here it is, I think. Jython, yeah, it's basically goes with the book they forced everybody to use. But I just have everybody use this online compiler. It's simple and, you know, you can test everything out. So before I close that out, who's in Python now? Do you want this link in the chat? I can give you that link. Okay, so what about YouTube videos? Would they help as well if they had examples in them? Okay. So Nicole, it'll be your responsibility to remind me of that at the end of class next week.
Okay.
Java examples to help with JavaScript. All right, so if there is nobody else who wants me to look at their in-class exercise or has no questions, you are free to go, and I will see you hopefully in person next week. And my foot will stop acting up, and we'll be, you know, in person the rest of the semester.
Wait, so after I put the CSS into the editor and I copy the whole thing, I save that as an HTML.
So this thing here
Yeah.
would all go in the HTML file. And whatever your .css would be referred to here.
Okay.
Have a good one, Professor.
Take care. Have a good
Bye,
night.
Professor. Have a good one.
Good night.
Professor, quick question.
Yes.
Can I have the email regarding to the how to save it like on a MacBook?
Yes. 1 second.
Thank you.
Ba, 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 ba.
Professor, where does the recording of this class go?
I will post a link for you guys because the YouTube one doesn't seem to work properly. When did I email that to you, Mike? Oh, here it is. 1 second, Rob. Okay, I just sent that off to you. Hopefully you get it momentarily. So the YouTube link did not work for some reason. So like last time I went back.
Got it. Sorry. Got it. Thank you, Professor.
No problem. So last time I went back in and now I've added from the SharePoint. So from the last time we met online, it's now linked to both pieces. Once we're done and I close it out, I'll click build content web link and it'll show up down the bottom here for today. So you should be able to access that. Probably take maybe 20 minutes to finish, quote unquote, modifying for recording, and then I'll pop the link up.
Okay, thank you. Have a
No
good one.
problem. Have a good night.
Professor, I had a quick question.
Okay.
So for submitting assignments, are we only submitting them through WinSCP, or do we have to submit them on Blackboard as well?
So
or no?
the in-class exercises, I want you guys to post them online. For the
Yeah.
homework, I think I showed everybody this last time. So for the homework, when
Yeah.
we have homework, so like the one that was due last night,
Yeah.
you click on HTML assignment and you do browse local files, upload your file, and then put the link here in the comments
Oh, okay.
to where you uploaded it on your courses. And then
Okay.
just click submit.
I
But
did not do that.
Take it you did not submit it?
No, but I submitted it on WinSCP. I don't know if they keep a
Okay.
log of when it was submitted, but I submitted it before the due date.
Let me check. Patrick, what's your last name? Start with D?
Dana, D.
So this one, Dana Pat?
Yep. And then
So gallery was the homework?
yeah, I believe so. I submitted it. I last changed on 9/13.
Okay. So just do this. Dana Pat. Was it right?
Mm-hmm.
So just click this link and email me a reminder to grade your homework.
Okay. Will do. Thank you, Professor.
No problem. Was anybody else in that boat for the first homework? That they forgot to submit it?
I didn't submit it through the comments, but I put it in the under like where it says like write submission, but I put the link in there. Is that okay, or do you want me to put it in the comment?
Did I grade it?
I'm not sure actually. Let me go check.
If it was submitted before last night, I think everybody got a 50 out of 50 that did it.
Yeah, okay, I got it. Thank you.
Okay, no problem.
And then would you be able to check if the in-class work thing went through? Because I have to use 2 computers because they're constantly dying back and forth. And I
This
just want,
one's you,
yes, sir.
Gloriana. So this in-class work.html is what you did today?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So it shows me hello world. Today is September 19th. So you did not upload the CSS file yet. So all it has right now is just black and white.
Okay, I'll go back and fix that then before, and then I'll check it, I guess, later on the same way you did.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
No problem.
Have a good night.
You too. Thank you. Damon, question, or you just wanted to mock Bill Burns some more?
No, I did actually have a question.
So wait, hold on. I think I know his pages.
Yeah, so BurnTube, and it was Burn University.
Oh, this thing here?
So that and Burn University.
This?
There we go. Yep.
And he had you like upload everything on here, right?
So we uploaded the homeworks via Blackboard, but we took like our assessments and stuff, like exams on there, and they were these really weird like true false question things. It was not great.
I want to see, did he record you guys?
He did not, or at least he didn't tell us if he did.
No, you would know. Like I just kind of do it normal.
Yeah, no, he again.
Oh, no, he
yes,
did. I guess Zoom for his. January 25th. Well, what he would normally do, he'd set up a tripod in the back of the room and literally record everything. So he would have like people wouldn't even know, like their faces and voices would be like when I record these Teams meetings, only you guys can access them.
Yeah.
Because I'll put it on Blackboard with the link and whatever. And it's like, okay, that's it. But he throws it up on YouTube. Like, I don't know if you guys have seen my YouTube. Where is this? So if you go to this blogs thing I made and scroll back to like 2020, when I taught this online, so I have little short videos and it's just kind of me talking.
Oh, okay.
Whereas his, like, let me see if I can find one.
Yeah, I remember because I remember looking at it, and it was just like a camera in the back of the room. You can see him like walking around.
Yeah.
It's really weird.
So like, yeah, you could see them on the side here. Like this is basically what he's done for like 30 years.
Oh, he's just always done this.
And I told him like, don't you have to get like permissions from this? Oh no, I just do it. Okay, whatever. All right, so what's your question?
So I'm trying to do the external, and when I do so, the alignment, the font, and the size aren't changing, but the color, the background, like both colors and the background is changing.
And you put both on in your file here or just one?
What do you mean by like the CSS and the HTML? Yeah.
So which one is it? Will this work?
So will this work is the CSS, yeah. But the in class 0919 HTML is the final product.
So your short name is what? Humbug?
BATTAG, the tag D2. There you go. Yeah, that's it.
And then what is it called?
You want the final product one?
Yeah.
In class 0919.
This is the big test. Testy McTesty face. Let's go for a walk. Will this work? .css. Background color is gray. H1 is blue. Alignment center. It's not centered.
And then but the paragraph is still 12 and the font is changed. I tried it with a couple different fonts, but none of them had changed. Worked.
And did you try it as a internal or no?
No, the internal I can get to work, but I wanted to try to get to do the external. Well, also internal, the font doesn't change anyway, so.
Well, like I said, it may just only accept like basic fonts like Arial and Times New Roman.
Okay.
I'm not seeing any issues with this.
Exactly. Yeah, that's so. Even if you take the font, with a grain of salt, whatever, but the other two things weren't working.
You're gonna have a field day with me because none of it's working.
Why is none of it?
So I don't know what I did, but you're gonna hate me because we need to go through it step by step, Professor. I know I'm a pain.
And what's your internal one called?
Me?
Yeah.
I didn't upload it. I had just.
Okay, go ahead and upload it and let me look at that one.
Okay.
The only thing I could think of is the spacing.
That would make sense.
But if the other thing works and you have the same exact spacing, then
So it's another an HTML, correct?
so yeah, if you have the internal one, that's just an HTML file.
Okay. That's fine.
So here it should just be H1 space and then the bracket. And here it should be P space and then just the bracket. I don't know if that's.
Try internal 0919.
What's it called?
Internal 0919.
Internal 0919.html.
The name wasn't my short name. But also it's not, so I just on it, it's not doing the centering or the change of size.
internal 0919.html.
Yeah, but then the short name is, I'm not Danapat.
Oh.
It's, but yeah, but tag D2.
That, okay.
Yep. BATTAG, but BATTAG D2.
This is a heading. This is the big test. I hope it works. Okay, so yeah, the only similarity I see is, see how there's like more than one space here and more than one space here?
Oh, so okay, so I can try and I'll cut that down.
See
But
how it's
why-
just P space and then the bracket? Unless you just have the wrong bracket, which I doubt, because you can just copy this stuff, right?
Yeah, no, it's the same. It's the one that's next to the P key.
Okay, so work on that and I'll help Emily out and come back to you.
Yep, thank you.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I'm
Class-
really, I
class
paid
goes until
attention, I
7:30, so-
promise. I'm doing everything. I don't know why it doesn't work. Okay, so I was getting the one, I didn't even save anything, so there's nothing for you to even look at. I'm not even gonna lie.
Oh, okay.
So I did it the first way, the way that you were like, oh, no one really does it that way. The inline? No. Starts with the I though.
Yeah, the inline where it's all on one line.
No, with the style, and then it was the other bracket, and then you had the
This one?
No, I didn't do it that way first, because that's the way to get the CSS, right?
Yep.
No, I did not do the external way. I did that way.
This way here.
Yes. So I
This
did
is
that.
internal.
And then that's when you made the comment, no one really does this way. And then I was like, oh shit, because I did it this way.
Well, everybody tends to do it this way, or
Oh, well,
because
I
like
know.
like I showed you guys with my, where is it? Like my page here. Like, see how long the HTML code is?
Yeah.
All of this is CS code. So literally half of the code is CSS. So if
Yeah.
you put that in its separate file, it saves you so much room. So that's what this example is here.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Can you please go over that with me again? Because I knew the other way. I'm very sorry. I feel like I always take up your time. Does it go under body or does it go under head? For
If
that
you
way.
do it this way, everything goes inside the style tag.
But it's under head.
Inside of head, yep.
Okay, so one sec. I gotta go back up.
And then
Oh,
inside your body, you just put all your text, your
Okay, so this
header
is
one, your
head.
paragraph.
I just deleted everything. Okay, one sec. So it goes head, then style tag.
Yep.
Then we're adding a background color.
Yep, so where is it?
Background dash color.
So
We'll just say-
slides 25, 26, and 27.
Okay, now let me just do that. I'm just gonna copy and paste that really quick.
So when you copy, first copy slide 25.
All the way from the top.
Yep.
Okay, so
And put that
copied
in.
that. Then 26 goes inside the head section.
Then 26, just copy H1, just copy everything inside the style tag here
Okay, and then same with 27.
and put
For
it
the P.
below the other one. And then do the
Yes.
same thing
Okay,
the next.
done. And then you did an H2, didn't you?
Yes.
Okay, and the
So all you
H2,
would do is H2 space,
that
shift
shift, whatever, by the
next
P.
to P, yep. And then whatever you wanted here. So, color, I don't know, what's your favorite color? Orange?
Green.
Green?
You think I'm an orange type of girl? No.
There was like 4 girls in this, no. Well, there were 4 girls that kind of participated in this class last fall. And every one of them, oh, green, green, green.
Okay, 12, green size 12, and then we'll do font serif just to keep it easy since it's already that. Okay. Do I have to put another semicolon there to end it?
Yes, semicolons after all of them.
And then we have to do the closing.
Yep, the closing bracket there is shift and then the 1, 2 over from B.
Okay.
And so
So
let's,
wait. Okay, so that's where I think I got confused. The body isn't like how it was before. It's under the style.
the body is under the head.
But no, it's
The
under head,
style
which is
is
under
inside
style.
of head.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, now. Emily is, you're right. Header.
So now
Now
I run
H,
this.
now P. I am confused. And then H2. Miranda is my savior. Now is my savior. H2. Okay. Now from here, we copy this all, put it in our notes pad.
So what way are you going to do it?
What you mean?
Are you just going to copy this and do internal?
Well, isn't you copy that into the notepad, save it as a HTML, and then you go back, okay. Files, save as.
So you would copy this
all files
into Notepad and
Yes,
do file save as all files. And then I'll call this emily.html.
Okay, in class, let's do 9-19.html. Okay. Now we open that?
Yep.
Or no, we're good?
Did you upload it to courses?
So wait, here's my question. When we talk about CSS, like it's an HTML file, just like the style is CSS?
So it's called a cascading style sheet. So basically all it
Now
does.
that's where I got messed up. That is where I got messed up because I was thinking we were saving it as something else too. Okay.
So when you put it within, and that's the point of the style, and you'll see this same thing when we do JavaScript. So instead of style for JavaScript, it's just script.
It's just script, okay.
You could put it right within your HTML file, which is called internal.
Okay.
Or you could do what is called external, where you put it into a .css file.
Okay.
And it'll be the same thing with JavaScript, where you could put it in a .js file or right inside of the file itself.
Okay. Can you check? I just put it up. Hannah Emil in class. It was just all lowercase in class, in space class, Let me see. No, in dash class 9-19, no space.
In dash class 919.
There's a dash in between the, yeah, right there. H1. Perfect.
This is annoying me that this center is not working.
Yeah, none of the alignments are working.
And Damon, you're still having that issue?
Correct. I'm still having the issue with that, the font size and the font itself. The font, again, written off, but the alignment and the size is not working either. I've come to now, I'm just trying to get the internal one to work, and then I'll worry about the external down the road.
I bet it's just something Thomas did. It's not even anything we did wrong. All right, well.
I just
I
have
think
a
it-
quick question about the project too.
Okay, I think it's fine for now, and if you guys can get it to work, that's fine. If not,
Yeah, Damon, it's the effort that counts, my guy. You just saw me struggling up in here. Good job.
Good. I would just, because you brought up Nicole's, and hers was centered, I believe. Unless I'm
Nicole's
making...
a different breed, my guy.
Yeah,
She's
that's
on a
true.
different level. You're
Nicole got
probably
a-
on that level too because you took a Python class. But us normal people over here, this is only their second class.
No, her internal one didn't work either.
Oh, then I was wrong.
Yeah, she's not on that level.
Oh no, she did alignment left though. So
No, but
just
she did
change it alignment
she
left.
She did alignment right on H2.
It's true.
And that didn't work.
See? Nope.
Okay.
So, and she got 109 in one of my classes and wouldn't give her extra points away.
That was greedy. I'm just saying, if I'm in
Wait,
that
she
class,
had extra points that she wouldn't give
I
away?
questioned her.
yeah, isn't that greedy? You're still passing the class.
I questioned her last week and she said, oh no, I was just a freshman. I didn't know that, that didn't matter.
You still have 100% if you give up 9 points.
Yeah. And you can give up more and
Or
still
you
be
give up
an
8
A.
and you have 101.
That's
Selfish.
I didn't know
Greedy.
that.
Okay, so what's the question about the project?
Okay. So this proposal, I'm looking at Medea. Is that how you pronounce her name? Medea?
Yep.
I'm looking at her example, and this is what's due in October, the first rough draft. First of all, mine doesn't have to look as pretty as this, right? For my first rough draft.
No.
Okay, because this is she has an example at the bottom of what she wants it to look like, and I can't even code yet because I'm out here struggling.
So this is her final version.
Okay, so she added that at the end.
Right.
Okay.
So if you go,
She just did it up to costs then, the 2 pages. So she did an introduction, deliverable, process, and cost.
So under project examples, you could see hers.
And then that's what my second question is about this Wix site, once we start doing it.
Okay.
How do I even get on it? What do I do? How do I start it? Because you keep mentioning it, and then I'm just sitting there, trying to figure it out. Okay, so go create a free website.
So it's just, I think, wix.com, and then there should be something. See, this is a dynamic thing that Wix has. You could change your language. That's
Okay.
what I've shown you guys in HTML. But there should be something here.
Oh, no. We're doing something free right now.
Oh, I know. I'm trying to find where the free one.
I'm broke. I'm broke out here. We need that free.
Maybe if I just Google it, free Wix.
See, that's what I'm talking about.
Okay. Bum, 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 bum.
It's not free anymore. You watch. You watch. They're making people pay for it.
Better not.
That means you're gonna have everyone have to do the blog. I'm putting $5 on the table right now. It's not free.
Okay, so try signing up. I'll post the link in the chat
Okay.
and hopefully it's free.
And then just follow it. If it's not free, then I'll hit you up next week and I'll see about that blog.
Okay. I think the blogs one, you literally just go to blogs.shu.edu.
Yeah, I went on that and that's what pulled up. And then obviously so much going on.
And then you
I
click
was
this
like,
request a blog.
okay. Is this one more user friendly than Wix, or is Wix more user friendly?
So Wix, if you want to do a lot of different stuff, is probably
The better option.
But basically, all this blogs is literally like WordPress, which I'll
I don't know
cover.
what that is. Is it like a website builder?
So WordPress is literally just a blog where you like this, like you could see it now.
Okay.
You kind of just click a bunch of
Buttons.
different random things. It basically does everything for you.
Okay. Okay, so we're gonna try to go the Wix route. Got it.
Okay, so what I'm gonna do right now, and you two can bear witness to this, I'm gonna update that page and put those links in. So for
Okay.
the blogs, and what is this? This is for Wix, right?
Oh no. I'll have to look because that's not available to us, the chat. So I think once we log out, we can see it.
Oh, you guys can't see the chat?
No, it's been
No, my
blocked
guy.
the whole time.
Oh, no.
This is like the bad news bears. Nothing's working.
Okay, so I just updated the project website options page,
Okay.
and it should be use Wix free version. You click that.
Got it.
It'll show you this, and hopefully you could get it. Or if you want to do blogs, I put that site there too, request a blog.
But you're the best. Thank you.
I try.
And this is why I take your classes. Because you're not making me feel guilty for being dumb.
You're not
So-
dumb. I've been doing this nearly 20 years, and I forget if it was Matt or Mark asked me that question in class last week. And I was like, let me circle back to that, because I literally had to look it up during break.
Yes, I remember that. But still, I usually don't ask questions in my classes. You're the only one I do. So you should feel
Because I answer them, right?
exactly. You don't make me feel guilty for asking them. I mean, some of my classmates probably hate me, but oh well.
That's what
Well,
I'm here for.
You have a great night. At least you didn't have to travel from Tom's Rivers today.
Yeah.
That would have been a hassle.
Especially there's all these, like, there was some concert all weekend or something.
Yeah, I was
Well, the
down
thing-
in AC. I
Yeah, the
had to
thing is-
pass through, and it was hectic in Tom's River.
There was also a huge one in AC too, Asbury Park.
Yeah, was
Yeah.
he here now or something?
Yep, that was it. Yeah, see here now.
Not to
Well,
be
I
young.
appreciate you. I will see you next week.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you.
So I have one more question,
Okay.
or one statement, I guess. I just wanted to let you know that I'm not going to be in class next week
Okay.
because I have to be in Florida for a wedding.
Okay.
So I just wanted to let you know, just out of a courtesy thing.
Okay. So next week will basically be like last week. We'll have a lecture we'll go through, an in-class example, and then there's going to be a CSS homework.
Okay, and you said the CISO's homework would be similar to what we did today, or no?
Yeah. So basically,
Okay.
you'll either decide to do it internally or externally, just like you did today.
Okay, and we'll get, you know, if the alignment and stuff isn't working, we'll worry about that, I
Yeah.
guess, then. All right.
I might just have to email Tom and be like, hey, well, why isn't CSS working now? What'd you do?
Okay. Thank you for your help. I do appreciate it.
No problem. You still will be able to like complete the assignment by the Sunday night though?
Yeah, because I'm getting back from the wedding Tuesday night,
Okay,
so I'll have a couple days to get it done.
okay,
So, but I should be good. Thank you. I do appreciate you asking.
no problem.
Okay. Have a good night.
You too, thanks.